Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the Ango Show. It is May 8th, 2025, and hopefully you guys are all having an amazing day. Today, we're going to be talking about WWE Backlash 2025.
Whoa.
I'm excited for it, man. What about you, Billy?
I'm pumped. I'm pumped for Backlash, man. It's going to be a good show, I think, overall.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a little bit of a sleeper. I feel like the build has been really good, though. So,
For sure. Would I be wrong for saying it may be better than the build to WrestleMania?
you know, I don't think it's weird. I've seen a lot of people echo the same sentiment as you. So, I don't know. I really liked WrestleMania's build. I like Backlash's build. I think Backlash's build has been really interesting for the fact that it's only been like a 3-week build, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's the crazy part is everything that has happened and is happening has all been done in a span of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's not often that you get like a what feels like a solid show in that short amount of time, but I guess it helps that there is only 5 matches on the card. You know what I mean? And they all make sense.
Yeah, and obviously there is there's a lot of conversation about Backlash this year because they've been building the Jey Uso and Logan Paul story, which has actually been really enjoyable to watch. But of course, that match is not on the card as of now. Now, technically speaking, it is Thursday. We haven't reached the SmackDown Go Home show, which could potentially bring in multiple different stories for the pay-per-view. It could maybe change the dynamics of our predictions. Who knows? But it is exciting because I feel like WWE after this week's Raw has been really good. We obviously talk about NXT, and I definitely think this Backlash is going to be an interesting one because it is a B pay-per-view. It's not a stadium show. It's not a big four, but WWE has been killing it on these B-level pay-per-views. So I am excited about that for sure. Like I definitely think there's some really good things about that I'm sure we'll be talking about.
Absolutely.
If you guys are interested in supporting the show, there's a couple ways to do so. First, the first way to do it is completely free. It costs you no money at all. All you got to do is literally just click like and subscribe and just hang out in the chat, right? That's always appreciated. And then if you guys want to do a little bit more, there's 2 ways to do so. And on this show, it's a little bit different because some people wait until, the super chats at the end of the show, or maybe all of the super chats in the beginning or whatever, or like a segment for it. We actually interact in real time with super chats and the members. So if you are a member on the channel, we'll actually throw your chats on the screen. We prioritize your comments. And it's actually really dope because you do unlock badges and emotes and Discord VIP and all that good stuff. It starts at $1.99 a month. So if you guys want to support, that's a way to do it. Or you could actually drop a super chat, and this guarantees that your questions or comments will get read. And of course, with a stream like this, where we do talk about Backlash, we have noticed in previous pay-per-view prediction shows, a lot of people seem to bring up different predictions that are differing from ours. And sometimes they either happen or they drive a really good conversation.
For sure.
And I think that's always really cool because the purpose of these predictions, yes, we want to make predictions and talk about the show, but also we talk about different ideas and different things that they can do as part of the show.
Yep.
So if you guys are interested in that, we will definitely read those and we will bring them up on the stream. And those are obviously really appreciated.
Absolutely. We appreciate y'all.
Now, you did mention it, 5 matches on the card.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I've always been a big I'm a huge fan of the shorter pay-per-views. I think it makes because for us, it's in St. Louis. It's gonna happen at probably 7-8 o'clock. It makes for a Saturday to flow a little bit easier. So I do appreciate WWE and the idea of not making these cards super big because also in that realm, it helps the main show itself, like Raw or SmackDown or something like that, where you add importance to those shows too by leaving. These are the top 5 stories that right now WWE feels are going to be the best. And, Dom Mysterio and Penta, you got John Cena, Randy Orton. Like, obviously, these are major storylines right now.
Yeah.
So I like him, man. I like him. Interested to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of these smaller cards, bro. I do. I feel like they're easier watches than normal,
Yeah.
and it's to me, it's actually a little bit different. So I haven't revealed this to the chat. I will not be watching Backlash live. My birthday.
What?
Yeah, I know. Can you believe it, dude? A pro wrestling YouTuber not watching a pay-per-view live. Oh my god, Ango's a WWE hater.
He's not real. This guy doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, I am not watching Backlash live, and the reason for that is not because of my interest in Backlash. I'm interested. Obviously, I'm very happy about the build. My birthday is next week, Tuesday, and apparently there's some people out there who love me enough to celebrate this Saturday. So, when you have a birthday on the weekdays, it kind of sucks, but
For sure, absolutely.
so yeah, there are people out there who actually love me. I don't have just a whole bunch of haters, and and I'm gonna touch grass, and
No
I
way,
will
you're gonna
be
touch grass?
yeah. I'm gonna be touching grass this weekend. But in all seriousness, I'll obviously be celebrating my birthday just a couple days prior. So
For sure.
because of that, I won't be able to watch Backlash live. Obviously, what ends up happening, by the way, I don't know if you do this before we get to the predictions. I think this is like the little chatter that's fun, but
Yeah.
I'm one of those dudes where this has happened. I've gone to weddings, I've gone to birthday parties, there was something where I had to be gone for a night.
Yeah.
And regardless of what it is, somehow, some way, I always find myself at a table putting it on my phone at some point just to watch a little bit.
Yeah, you got to see what's going on. That's literally my whole life.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
probably won't be watching Backlash live, but I'm sure I could sneak away for a few minutes and pull it up on the phone. Thank God for Peacock,
Wait, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to be watching it live. I'm legitimately going to be watching it live.
Oh, Backlash
Yeah.
watch along?
Backlash watch along. We're going to do that over on my channel. So if anybody wants to tune in, come hang out. Ango's not going to be watching it live, but I'm legitimately going to be live on YouTube, streaming it, having a good time with the chat.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I mean it's crazy because this month is actually a very hectic month for me. May is always like
May
a weird
sucks.
Yeah, May is like so many birthdays, so many things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just tough, dude. It was so funny because I remember last time, by the way, what pay-per-view was it? I don't know. 2 years ago, I went to the Weekend concert at Ford Field when he came on tour.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was WWE or UFC, but at the time, I remember pulling out my phone, pulling it up, and being like, you're vibing at a concert and shit. And I don't really care for concerts too much, but I'm chilling and vibing and
Yeah.
or whatever.
Right.
I'm like looking down on my phone. I'm like, oh shit. So that's the kind of person I am. So I don't know. Celebrating the birthday this weekend, not watching it live. Billy will be watching it live. So if you guys want to watch it live while Billy's watching it live, you could watch it live while Billy is watching it live.
Bro, hold on. You just made it super confusing. I'm going to be live and you guys can watch it live with me.
Yeah. So make sure you guys check that out. But of course, I'm still going to pay attention to it. And of course, this time we won't be able to do a post watch along or post review or anything like that. But we will be talking about it on Monday, which will be really cool. Yes, my birthday is Tuesday and we will still be live on Tuesday. So
big happy belated birthday to you right now.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.
Oh, man. I'll tell you happy birthday for real on Tuesday.
I appreciate it.
Oh,
Thanks,
dude,
bud.
no problem, brother. No problem.
Let's kick things off with a super chat. Darth Bane coming through, $4.99. He says, in no way should Gunther lose. He should squash McAfee. Then I would have Gunther attack Cole after the match or Raw, then have Goldberg make the save. This is so exciting to kick things off with a super chat because, well, ladies and gentlemen, I am super freaking excited for this match.
Me too. Pumped for this one.
Yeah. It's like, listen, I'm going to throw this out there, man. Gunther, McAfee, the promos have been outstanding. The build to this has been outstanding. I don't want this to be a thing that just ends at Backlash. I know that sounds crazy.
Well, you know what it's going to lead into, right?
Yeah, obviously we've been talking about Goldberg, and we know Goldberg and Gunther makes a lot of sense. I think
it doesn't make sense, but it does.
How does it not make sense?
I just don't want to see Goldberg on my TV.
Why?
I don't like Goldberg.
I never liked Goldberg, but he's gonna put over Gunther. How can you get mad at that?
We can hope he puts over Gunther. They're gonna have a 5-second squash match.
Ah, brother, this isn't Vince. This isn't Vince.
I don't think that's a Vince thing. I think that's a Goldberg thing.
No, man. Vince always no. You know, Vince was never too fond of like creating newer guys. Like he always struggled with that.
I don't think it's a Vince problem.
No, it is.
No, bro, because Goldberg, he was going WCW. Bro couldn't wrestle. He can't wrestle. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I just don't want to see him on my TV. That's all.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dog, but I just don't think that's a Goldberg thing. And it sure as hell isn't a Goldberg thing in WWE these days.
Goldberg said it's a him thing.
Nah.
Bro, he said, I don't even love wrestling for real.
Nah. Where did he say that?
Bro, in numerous interviews.
I don't know. I've never seen that. But maybe you're right. All I'm saying is I'm very intrigued by the possibility of Goldberg versus Gunther.
I can get behind it because it helps Gunther, obviously, to like a mainstream appeal.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that. I'm not naive to that.
Yeah.
But does not mean that I'm going to enjoy it when he shows up. But that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about Pat McAfee, and we're talking about my boy Gunther.
Yeah, so listen, this is the first match that we could talk about. I do think Gunther should beat McAfee. I don't think it should necessarily be a squash. But when I say that, this is kind of where I disagree with Darth Bane. When I say it shouldn't necessarily be a squash, I think it should be one of those matches where Pat McAfee starts off like really hot, lets him get in his moves, big pop, and then Gunther destroys the hell out of him. Like it should be one of those things where Gunther is kind of like taken back a little bit, like he's shocked that Pat McAfee is like, whoa. And then it just changes Gunther into a whole different gear.
Right, because go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry. But then right after that, that's where I would have him like destroy Pat McAfee, go in front of Michael Cole and laugh at Michael Cole, right?
Yeah.
Or right off Michael Cole, straight up, right then and there. Like right off Michael Cole. He goes and attacks Michael Cole, and Michael Cole has to go miss Raw. And then that's how we get Goldberg.
So the one thing I could say is I think the best way to do it, kind of like you said a moment ago, is having Gunther overlook Pat, kind of the same way that he overlooked Jay, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then kind of going into like the middle of the match where Gunther kind of has to snap back into it for a moment and be like, oh man, like this isn't me. I got to get back to it. And then just ultimately destroys him. I think that would be the best route to go for this match. I do think Gunther is obviously going to pick up the victory, and I'm going to pick Gunther across the board here. But I'm very, very intrigued to see how they play it out with the inclusion of Michael Cole. And if they, because I'm not a hater of your take there of, is that guy, can they write him off right now? And then maybe you just have Pat at the commentary table on Monday, or you just have a completely different team, right? I think that would be an interesting way to do it.
So I think you could do something like that, right? Like I think you could have Pat McAfee and Michael Cole miss Raw. Honestly, like make the call to Vic Joseph and Joe Tessitore, or like Booker T and Joe Tessitore or something, or Corey Graves.
Yeah.
Because then when you bring in Goldberg, it is gonna be a big babyface moment for sure.
Oh yeah, dude, they're gonna love that guy. I mean, I think we can all be like 1,000% transparent, knowing like Goldberg is going to get, when it comes to the casual audience, they're going to be excited for him. Again, guy still sucks. Sorry, Ango. The guy sucks.
So you actually got a super chat. Shout out to Darth Bane. Billy got a super chat on his channel from Nathan Preston, and he
Shout
says
out, Nate.
Goldberg can't wrestle like Cena. Now, I found this to be kind of a funny comment because of the fact that John Cena is not even really that good of a wrestler anymore. I mean, he was never that great of a wrestler to begin with, but like these last few years, I don't feel like John Cena's really been
No,
that
can you
impressive.
imagine on like, especially after like the Will Ospreay comment, Cena comes out tomorrow and he's like, I'm the best wrestler in the world. There's nobody better than me. Can you imagine how funny that would be?
It would be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. Fully agree, Nate. Goldberg can't wrestle. He can't. The guy is no good. Ango says it's a Vince thing. It's not a Vince thing. This guy sucks. And his son's really good at football. He's got that going for him. You know, Gage, really good kid. Plays with Deion Sanders, a dog. But no, I just don't want to see that guy on my TV, man. Where'd you go, bro? Left me here hanging, man. I'm just going to sit here and hang. It is what it is. What in the world happened? Is he gone? Okay. Ango's gone, I think. That's interesting. Hold on. Ango ditched us, bro. The dude just disappeared out of his own live stream. Yo, there's no way this guy just disappeared.
Hello.
Dude, I didn't see the private chat.
We have a private chat.
Bro, I forgot.
I was coughing the hell out.
I was like, bro, where'd he go?
And I just said, hold on, I'll be right back. I need a water. You guys couldn't see it, but I took myself off camera so I could just start coughing.
Well, bro,
like
do you
crazy.
remember how yesterday after we got off the stream, your Google Chrome crashed?
Oh, yeah.
It's in my head. I was like, oh, no, did Google Chrome crash?
Yeah. No, honestly, I just gave up my spot to John Cena. We were talking shit. I was like, all right, he can take over the show.
Yeah, I was talking trash. That's my bad. I was shit talking.
No, it's all good. Did you want to address any more of your super chat?
No, man, Goldberg can't wrestle. You got anything to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, Goldberg is not a great wrestler, and John Cena is not a great wrestler, but
Yes,
larger than life personality.
For sure. Those exist. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I said, even though, like me, I'm not a big Goldberg fan, never really was. It doesn't change the fact that when he comes out and makes his entrance and he's in his match, he's got aura, you know.
He does for sure. He's gonna come out there, you know, with the security.
Yeah,
it'll be cool.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But like I said, I think originally going back to the match, I do believe that Gunther is winning, bro. I don't know how you pick anybody other than Gunther here. Like Gunther doesn't lose matches often. So he lost to Ilya, he lost to Jay, he lost to Sammy. Like there's no way he loses to Pat. So this is obviously the clear plan. Like let's utilize this to get in Goldberg. And you know, like I said, if you have Pat McAfee kind of jump in and really surprise everybody and then boom, just gets annihilated, Gunther should just take out Michael Cole, new announced team on Monday, and Goldberg and Gunther face to face.
Yeah, I'm cool with it, man. I'm cool with it. I'm going to go ahead and pick Gunther here.
Nice. Perfect. That's what I like to hear. We are both,
we're in agreement there.
Yeah, we'll see if our predictions are right or wrong, whatever it may be, but
right.
We'll definitely keep that going.
Dude, we got to do something one day where, like, you know, we got to do something fun with these predictions. Like, loser has to do something.
Like what?
I don't know. But we got to do something fun. These predictions need to mean something, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just me saying. I just fully believe.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. I'm with it. Justin Kennington dropped a super chat, $4.99. He says, I think Jeff Cobb debuts and helps Dom beat Penta and joins the Judgment Day.
See, what a good damn take.
It's an interesting take.
That's a good one. They need a powerhouse.
Do we really want Jeff Cobb in the Judgment Day?
No, but
No, I'm not. I'm saying this respectfully. I'm not. I like the ideas. I like when we get super chats and there's
me too. I love it.
I think for me, my issue here that I have is Finn and Roxanne are clearly teasing something, which tells me that Finn is breaking away from the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
AJ Styles called Finn Balor Prince.
Yep.
You know, there's been all this talk about a new Judgment Day or something like that, or like a new member of Judgment Day, and that hasn't happened. Is it Jeff Cobb though?
I don't think so. I don't think it should be Jeff Cobb. I think Jeff Cobb is going to be a standalone type of guy when they introduce him.
I think we see Jeff Cobb like tomorrow, to be honest.
Really? You think so?
I do.
You see him on SmackDown?
Yeah. I mean, I would prefer him on Raw, but SmackDown.
Because from my understanding, I'm hearing that SmackDown is going back to 2 hours.
It is.
Yeah, at the end of this month.
No, it is. It is. End of this month, like early June or end of May. But yeah.
As a fan, thank you. Thank you. They care about me.
Yeah.
Those are getting tough. But that's why I think once you see SmackDown go back to 2 hours, I think people are going to speak a little bit differently about SmackDown now having Aleister Black, potentially bringing in Jeff Cobb. I think people are going to sing a different tune about how SmackDown is booked.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? We'll see.
For sure.
It's tough. Regarding this take, as we talk about Dom versus Penta, there has to be a reason why Dom beats Penta, because I don't believe Penta beats Dominic Mysterio. So I do believe Penta gets screwed over because of somebody.
Yeah.
Yes. Now the real question is, do you bring in Jeff Cobb as that guy to do it?
No, I don't think, because again, there's so many people in the Judgment Day that you could have do it. You could have it just be simply Carlito. You could have it be JD McDonough. You can get Raquel involved. Like there's numerous people already. So Jeff Cobb would essentially be like a fourth option. It's like, I don't know if I necessarily want Jeff Cobb in the group. I do like Justin's, prediction here. I don't, you could find a way to fit him in there, but I think the story that they're telling with the Judgment Day is that it's almost done. You know what I mean? It's coming to that collision course. It's coming to that end. So therefore, I think Jeff Cobb, I would actually agree with you. I think he fits better on SmackDown. Obviously he'd do great on Raw with Seth's faction. But if you're going to have him be a standalone guy, I'd have him go to SmackDown.
Yeah, this is tough, man.
Oh, for sure.
Somebody's interference is coming.
Absolutely. Penta is not going to lose clean.
What if AJ does this on behalf of Finn, not on behalf of Dom?
Yeah, because he just wants Finn to get away from him.
What if Finn and AJ are starting something new and this is the way to kind of
play into that? And maybe, okay, hold on. Maybe it's not necessarily AJ's fault and it becomes Finn's fault because of something AJ does. So then that allows tension to boil with Dom, maybe.
But Dom is retaining.
But I'm saying, like, maybe he accidentally, like, bumps into Dom and it almost costs him. Maybe that's where the interference comes. And then, obviously, maybe Carlito and JD come out and save the day and just ultimately help Dom win. Yeah. But Finn almost messes it up for Dom because of something that AJ does. I know that's a lot of moving parts, but with the Judgment Day, there is a lot of moving parts.
I think for sure the Judgment Day will not look the same when Liv comes back.
1000%. And so again, they're just retelling that story with Rhea, how it looked different when Rhea came back.
Yes. So now I think that's exactly it. So something here is happening. It just depends what it is. Now the question is, could it be Jeff Cobb? Now listen, if you were starting a group, and this would be kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
Finn. What if Finn was starting a group with Jeff Cobb, Roxanne, AJ Styles, and this is his way of trying to help Dominic. And then the choice becomes, does Dominic stick with the old Judgment Day versus this new group? Which, by the way, I'm very aware. A lot of people might be watching this and being like, this is fucking stupid. But let me just be very, very clear. There is clearly something happening with this group disbanding and Finn Balor going separate ways. They've been teasing it for over a year now. So, dude, this is, I mean, it's got to be.
Something has to happen here. And it has to be some kind of F finish. You know what I'm saying?
But I wouldn't be mad. I swear to God, now that I think about it, Justin Kennington, shout out to you, brother, because literally, Jeff Cobb, AJ, and Finn Balor would be a pretty fucking awesome faction.
That'd be dope, low-key.
And it would be like Dom and everybody would be confused. Why is Jeff Cobb? Like, what is this to do? And Finn Balor says, hey, I couldn't trust JD. I couldn't trust Carlito. I made the executive decision
to go out on my own and do what I have to do.
Yeah. And then eventually, I don't know. This is why fantasy booking is so freaking fun, bro, because you just think of random crazy ideas. Shout out to Justin Kennington for that one, because at first I was like, no. Like in my head, I'm like, no. But I wouldn't be opposed to it, bro.
No, Jeff, Finn, and AJ? Yeah, not a shot.
Roxanne?
Yeah, and you add Roxanne to the mix. That's a big deal.
They feud with the Judgment Day, Liv, Raquel, Carlito, JD.
Well, because then that gives Carlito and JD something to do, too.
Yeah. For one feud, though?
Yeah, I mean, that's the kicker, right? That's the tough one. It's like, all right, what do they do after the fact? But no, man, it's going to be interesting. I know for a fact, though, I am going to take Dom picking up the victory.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I love Penta. Penta needs to get screwed. Hold on 1 second.
Uh-huh. What the?
I was just being extra. I muted myself just because it was funny. But one thing I do not want to forget about is El Grande Americano, our champion.
Our speed champion, baby.
Yeah, just one thing I want to throw out. Obviously, we can move the Judgment Day away from Penta with El Grande Americano. It wouldn't be a bad idea as well, just to throw this out there. I could very much see a position where El Grande Americano screws over Penta, and that helps Dominic. He's not going to align with Dominic or the Judgment Day, but he's doing this because of Penta, and they keep going back and forth.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want to give a shout out to Justin Kennington for the super chat. We got a couple other super chats coming in. David Primero dropped $1.99. He says, who would you rather see wrestle, Eva Marie or Goldberg? LOL. And no, he is not spelling Goldberg wrong. I think this is very easy. But for the sake of not getting in trouble, I would rather see Goldberg, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, David, you're gonna get people in trouble, man. You're gonna get people. No, man. I know who I'm picking.
Goldberg.
I'm picking Eva Marie. I'm getting into the fight.
That's a real man right there.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Eva Marie all day.
She's so terrible at wrestling, though.
She sucks.
Like, Goldberg ain't that bad. Like, I understand, like, Bret Hart would tell you otherwise, but Goldberg ain't that bad, bro.
Yeah, if you're talking to Bret Hart's going to tell you he's the worst wrestler that's ever stepped foot in a ring, and he might be the worst human being of all time.
I swear, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Goldberg. Yeah. Shout out to David Primero for the super chat. I thought that was a funny one. D-Rack Tube dropping $5. He says, I have no issue with Goldberg. People just hear these stories about him and it paints a negative picture and they just get on the bandwagon. Well, I do think this is an interesting topic, because I do think, like, under Vince McMahon, it didn't do Goldberg any favors, like beating Bray Wyatt. Like, when you look at some of those booking decisions that Vince had with Goldberg,
yeah,
it didn't do any favors for Goldberg. It painted Goldberg as this guy who's like got an ego and
I get it for sure.
it didn't help him. And I think a lot of times, like you were saying too, like, oh, it's the Goldberg effect. Like he was the one who made these choices. He did this. Like, I don't know, man. I think the booking and really changed people's perspective, and it painted a negative picture
For sure.
And that's something to obviously factor in, And I think with WWE guys too, one thing I will say is like with Goldberg, I personally don't have an issue with him. I don't think he's a great wrestler, but he has good aura. He goes in there, he does what he's supposed to do. If he's putting over Gunther, there's no issue here. Now, if Goldberg comes in and spears Gunther 5 times in a jackhammer and beats him, that's a whole different conversation. And that's where I tend to just say no. That's honestly where I say no. Like I genuinely believe that. Like at that point, that's where I'm not for it. I'm against it. So I do kind of want to point that out. Like I really don't have issues. I'm with D-Rec Tube here. I really don't have issues with him. I'm just not 100%. Like if he comes in and he's winning and he's beating everybody, it's different. 100% different. So that's kind of it. I also think people like to side with Bret Hart, and Bret Hart is clearly not a Goldberg fan. I don't know. People don't like it when I say this, but I'm also not a big fan of Bret Hart either. I've never been a big fan of Bret Hart, even when I was younger. So I am excited for Goldberg to come back and lose to Gunther, though. I am. If he doesn't lose to Gunther and if he doesn't lose to Braun Breaker, I'll be singing a whole different tune. You guys will hear me scream and rage and all that stuff, Shout out to D-RecTube for the super chat. Darth Bane coming through with $4.99. He says, Cena wins dirty. The voices have Orton go to punt Cena. Cody returns and stops Orton. Orton hits Cody with an RKO, getting a Cody versus Orton feud. I love this super chat. When Billy returns, I will bring this up when we get to that match. Okay, Darth Bane? I'm not forgetting about your super chat. I like your super chat a lot. But when we get to that match, we will discuss that because I do like that a lot. And am I missing anybody else's super chats? Okay, no, I'm not. Okay. Hello, sir. Welcome back to the Ango show.
Hey, man, thanks.
So, just to be clear, we're both picking Dominic Mysterio.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. I like it. So, that brings me to Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch.
All right, let's do it.
This is hard.
This one is one of the more tougher ones.
Yeah, this is difficult for me, to be honest.
It's not difficult for me to choose who I want to win, but it's the booking decision that can be difficult.
I think this is going to be a very fun match to watch.
Oh, 1,000%.
Am I crazy for picking Lyra?
No, because that's who I was going to pick.
I'm going to tell you guys what I think is my personal opinion coming from the heart.
Yes.
And then what I think WWE will do.
Okay, bring it on.
My heart tells me Lyra Valkyria should win.
Absolutely.
My heart tells me Bayley should return.
Okay.
My heart tells me Bayley is the reason why Lyra Valkyria wins. My heart is telling me Lyra Valkyria is going to be shot right into superstardom right here.
Okay.
My head is telling me WWE has Becky Lynch win.
So, yeah, my head does too. My head tells me that Becky's going to win. But my heart tells me that Lyra is the better choice to win.
Yeah.
And it needs to be because of Bayley. I don't know necessarily why Bailey got written off, but I understand if it's just for this storyline that she got written off, then this is a great time to bring her back, especially after all the trash talk.
So I want to pull up this chat from Bonkers LFC. Becky wins by Bailey costing by accident. So I actually saw this in the chat and I immediately thought, this would be kind of cool. What if we can start building like for a triple threat, perhaps at Evolution?
That'd be nice. You get Bailey and Becky in the same match, and then you bring in a new star like Lyra, who could ultimately win at Evolution.
Yeah.
And, we complain right now, and people will complain about it right now, but the long term of it could be much better. Lyra getting that, because even as the champion, we've obviously seen her break out, right? She's been this huge breakout star on the main roster, especially the last 2 weeks with with Becky. I think if we're looking at the bigger picture, her going over on Becky and Bailey at Evolution only legitimizes her as a champion that much more. And it legitimizes her as a top player in a way that WWE is a person who WWE is going to be building their women's division around.
Yeah.
That's how I view it. So I'm actually a big fan of Bonker's comment here.
Yeah, I want to throw that up there. I thought it was interesting. I just I want to see Bailey back.
So do I. I think Bailey helps TV.
I don't know.
Yeah, who are you going to go with here? I'm going to go Lyra. I'm going to go Lyra here.
If you go with your heart and not your brain,
it says Lyra.
Yeah.
But if you go with your brain rather than your heart, it says Becky.
I'm picking Becky Lynch.
Okay. All right. Here's our first difference.
Yeah, I'm picking Becky Lynch, but I want to throw this out there. It's not going to be. This is not the end of Lyra Valkyria.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's not the end of Lyra Valkyria.
Absolutely not.
It's so tough.
It is.
It's tough. It really is tough for me. This one's tough. I don't know why I'm getting calls. Fucking A. Ignore. It's tough for me, Billy, because I feel like with Lyra Valkyria, I like the idea of her winning, and I love the idea of how they could book her to win.
Oh, for sure. Because there's like no real wrong answer here. I know people want to, go debate and, say, oh, this could work, this could work, this could work. There's no real wrong answer. Either or Becky or Lyra is a good answer. The difference is some people are not feeling what Becky is doing, you being one of those people. But regardless of the fact, when you think about long term, she does make sense to win here. If we're booking Evolution out, right?
Mm-hmm.
She does make sense. So there's no real wrong answer, I think.
But we don't even know when Evolution is actually happening. If it is actually happening, technically.
No, it still has yet to be announced.
But what if Bailey costed Becky the match and then we turn this into a triple threat at Evolution?
Mm-hmm.
That would be something that could be unique to me.
For sure. Absolutely.
All I'm going to say is this. Genuinely speaking, I'm picking Becky. I really am.
Okay.
And as you said, there's no wrong answer. What I will say is I don't want everybody to put 100% belief into the fact that WWE is just going to automatically give it to Becky.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they have a greater plan for Lyra and Becky and Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to throw this out there. I don't think it's 100% given that Becky's winning the belt. I am picking Becky. And I do think for long-term storytelling, it actually makes sense for her to win.
It does.
She needs to get her lick back. Lyra beat her in NXT. So I'm throwing it out there. I think Becky wins, but I don't think it's 100% given.
No, it's definitely not going to be just handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can fully agree with that.
That one's tough. That one was definitely tough.
It was. I'm picking Lyra. Here.
I'm picking Becky.
All right.
Fatal 4-way for the United States Championship. Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Damian Priest, Jacob Fatu. This is
Easy.
It's the easiest prediction ever. So I'm just going to throw it out. Jacob Fatu ain't dropping the belt.
Jacob Fatu, baby.
I want to see, first of all, what a fucking banger.
Oh, this is going to steal the show. This will probably be the best match on the card.
Yeah, this is, oh, shit. Four of, and I love this idea of like top guys in the company holding or like competing for a mid-card belt is so sick these days.
Yeah, dude, it's everything. You know, we questioned after WrestleMania, like, what was LA Knight going to do? And they immediately threw him and kept him important.
Yeah.
You know, so that's huge.
So the question is, what do they do here? Obviously, Jacob Fatu wins. I think me and you both agree on that.
Yes.
How do they go about this?
I think you can continue. I think, honestly, I think you switch it up a little bit. Maybe you have Damian go out and feud with Jacob Fatu for a little bit. And then you let the story be LA Knight and Drew McIntyre, two guys, you know, that are in need of something and can really help elevate one another. You know what I mean? Two guys that are very important. Obviously, we had Damian and Drew and all of that, and they've told that story, but I think it's time for both of them to move on. And I think Drew and LA Knight here makes a lot of sense. I think Damian and Jacob make a lot of sense, but you can also go the route, especially with what we seen last Friday, right? With Damian and LA Knight, you know, change it up a little bit. Maybe they want to go a different route with LA Knight. You know, he has been stagnant, so maybe they want to turn him heel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's no better opponent for him other than Drew McIntyre or Damian Priest, because they're all on that same level right now of like what to do with them.
So I want to throw this out there. Sam said this in the chat. He says, "You all forget about Solo trying to ruin everything for Fatu."
You're ruining everything. He said that to Nick Aldis.
I don't think Solo cost him the belt though. I think that's gonna, like, their whole split up is gonna be something different.
I agree. I think it's gonna be a whole different kind of split. It's not gonna be as simple as we think it is, because there's obviously something important here that is happening.
Yeah. So this is how I'm gonna predict it. I think Jacob Fatu wins and he stacks all three of the guys and pins them all.
Okay. That's deep. Hold. I don't know if we go that route, brother.
I know, I was kidding, bro.
Okay. I was like, hold on, brother. I don't know if we should be doing that.
No, I think LA Knight gets pinned here.
Yes, I think LA Knight can take the pin.
I don't think he should take the pin. I think, honestly, Damian Priest should take the pin. I think Drew and Damian Priest this is what's going to happen. Honestly, Drew and Damian Priest they're fighting outside the ring. They're distracted. Jacob Fatu takes advantage of LA Knight.
Fair. Jacob already knows LA Knight's weaknesses.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Is there a match that I'm missing?
Yeah, Cena and Orton.
Yeah, I know that, but I was just making sure there wasn't another match.
No.
So while you were away, Darth Bane dropped a super chat. He says, Cena wins dirty. The voices have Orton to go punt Cena. Cody returns and stops Orton. Orton hits Cody with an RKO, getting the Cody and Orton feud. That's not my prediction. That was his, but I like the super chat, and there was a reason why I like the super chat.
Because Cena wins dirty?
Cena does win dirty, but I also believe Cody is 100% coming back.
Yes, I think this will be the time that we see Cody come back. And I don't think it happens this way. I think it happens where he attacks Cena. And then Orton over the weeks will be mad at that. And then eventually it'll turn into a feud between Cody and Orton, which I think will culminate at WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, Cody and Orton should not be wrestling unless it's for the world title.
Absolutely not.
So the question is, how does John Cena win? I'm throwing in Travis Scott. We see Travis Scott.
Yeah.
And I think I genuinely believe like we get that celebrity tag team match, SummerSlam. We'll see how they do it, or maybe they do it in Money in the Bank. I don't know. But I think we very much see Cody and Travis Scott and Cena and Randy Orton or Bad Bunny. Like it's gonna be a tag team match.
Can you imagine like Bad Bunny just whooping on Travis Scott in a wrestling ring?
I don't think that's what they should do, but I think that's what they will do. So my pick is obviously John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
I think John Cena wins.
Okay.
I think John Cena versus Cody at SummerSlam, and then John Cena turns babyface after. Cody wins the belt back. John Cena turns babyface. I don't know.
Remember when I said all that and everybody thought I was crazy for saying that?
I think he should just be heel the entire time, but at this point, the heel turns kind of ass. So just
that's why I think Randy Orton should win.
That quick.
Yeah, bro, this has been a flop.
I think flop is not the right term, but
for me, it has been.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
It has not done necessarily what I needed John Cena's heel turn to do.
No, for sure, but to call it a flop is a little.
Maybe not so much a flop, but it's definitely been underwhelming.
Yeah.
I think we'd agree there.
Yeah, we both have talked about that for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe you do have Cena win and then you let him and Randy feud for a little bit longer. There's ultimately something about John Cena destroying pro wrestling that WWE is just infatuated with, that they just need to do this, which I don't know. It's hard because it's like, will he be, this ultimate bad guy all the way till the very end, or are they going to turn him back babyface and maybe eventually he comes out of it, like snaps out of his egotistical mind? Like, it's so hard to predict and so hard to tell. I guess that's the excitement of it, right? Is that it is hard to predict and know what's going to happen. But, yeah, I mean, truth be told, it's probably not hard for other people, but this one's hard for me.
Cena wins.
Okay.
Travis Scott and John Cena beat up Randy Orton after the match. Cody Rhodes makes the save.
Okay. That's easy.
And Randy and Cody have a little bit of another seed planted.
I could see that.
And they don't revisit. Sure. They don't turn to that feud until
after Cody wins SummerSlam or something.
When Cody gets the belt back.
Yeah, because when do we think Cena actually drops the belt?
December. In his final match.
No.
That's what I'm thinking.
My ultimate guess, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, I think it's going to be Cena. I think Cena makes sense.
What?
To win.
This match?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But every bone in my body really thinks it should be Randy.
I can't imagine they do it, but hey, it would be a nice change. That would if that's the case with Randy winning.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening at all, but if that were the case, that's the end of John Cena's heel turn.
Yes, I mean, if they ultimately go, it has to end right then and there.
Yeah, that's them calling the audible. Which we could all thank The Rock for, because he fucking ruined it.
Yeah, Rock just completely dismantled. Imagine The Rock shows up here.
Fucking asshole. I would be so pissed.
Bro.
I say that on stream, but I'm not going to lie. If The Rock showed up and helped John Cena, I swear I'd probably be fine with it.
Bro, there's a part of me that thinks that he's going to.
I don't know. He's too busy. He don't love the WWE no more. He doesn't love the
No,
WWE universe.
he hates us, man. He really hates us.
I don't know. That's tough. That's a tough one.
It is. It is.
Shout out to Darth Bane for the super chat. My pick was John Cena.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cena here.
Okay. Couple super chats. Justin Kennington coming through with $4.99. He says, "What if Karrion Kross forms a faction with the Righteous?" Well, ladies and
Probably gonna
gentlemen,
happen.
Karrion Kross has been teasing this, so
It's probably gonna happen.
there is history there. So he did post a video listening to the Righteous's theme song. They're all interacting on Twitter. The Righteous being with Killer Kross, Karrion Kross would be fucking awesome.
So dope.
I'm all for it.
Count me in, coach. Count me in.
Yeah, I want to see it. I
Me
want to
too.
see Killer Kross, baby. I want to see him get this massive push.
He better, bro.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. He better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He's a hell of a worker, man.
I want to see something. For the sake of having a fun conversation, let's see.
Okay. I like fun conversation.
As of 3 hours ago, Backlash has 15,967 tickets sold. There's less than 900 tickets left, which means they're going to sell out. They're going to sell it. So, yeah, that's a big one.
Absolutely.
That's a big one. This is a big crowd. It's pretty much going to sell out. WWE will sell it. So,
oh, absolutely.
You got to think they got to come in with a big bang. Maybe this is an opportunity for Karrion Kross because we know that the Righteous are out of contract. I wouldn't be opposed because it's a 5-match card. I wouldn't be opposed to during one of these matches, something happens backstage, and this is how you introduce Karrion Kross and the Righteous.
That's not a bad idea.
Like maybe there's like a backstage attack on somebody, and then you got to tune into Raw to see.
Yeah. Oh man, I like that.
The show could benefit from something like that, and because it's a massive show for a B-level pay-per-view. Take a big swing here.
Why not?
Shout out to Justin Kennington for the super chat. Luke Newman dropping $1.99. Cody returns and turns heel and attacks Orton. Oh,
leave Cody alone.
I don't know. The Rock did say Cody's turning heel. That piece of shit.
Piece of dog shit. I don't care what The Rock said. I don't. Call me a hater. Call me what you want. Don't care. No, Cody should not turn heel. The guy's obviously not yet. It's something you can do later down the line because there's always a point in a wrestler's career where they become stagnant. But right now, Cody is hot. People love him. The kids love him. Leave him alone right now. WWE is in need of that super duper good guy. Cody is that. He fits that mold. You let it be.
Yeah.
That's how I'd do it.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
I agree. Shout out to Luke Newman for the super chat. I'm excited for Backlash, man. I'm excited.
Me too. It'll be a good show.
You know, last night, WWE Evolve was great. NXT this week was great. Raw was great. Tomorrow we have the go home show for SmackDown.
Yep.
Backlash Saturday.
Yep.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm excited to see how they go about it. Like I said, guys, I'm not going to be watching.
I will be.
Backlash Live. Billy will be. He'll be doing a watch along.
So come pull up.
Yeah, definitely pull up and then make sure you guys check that out. And I'm excited to see what happens.
It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm geeked. I'm geeked. I'm not going to lie. I'm geeked for it. We'll see how they go about it.
For sure. Absolutely.
I think that's perfect perfect way to end the show. Those are our Backlash predictions. Shout out to everybody who came through. We hit our super chat goal. Darth Bane, Nathan Preston, Justin Kennington, David Primero, D-Rec-Tube, Darth Bane, Justin Kennington, Luke Newman. Shout out to you guys for those super chats. And we will be back tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Billy TKO, youtube.com/Billy TKO. Also on TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys check them out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show. Peace.